Shaunie Henderson says quote from her memoir about ex-Shaquille O'Neal was taken out of context. In an excerpt from her debut memoir, Henderson ponders if she was ever really in love with her ex-husband, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaunie Henderson is setting the record straight about the viral excerpt from her book in which she questions whether or not she was really in love with her ex-husband, Shaquille O'Neal. In her memoir, UNDFEADD, Changing the Rules and Winning on My Own Terms, released on Tuesday, May 7 via Gallery Books, Henderson, 49, writes, "Looking back, I don't know that I was ever really in love with the man whom she married in 2002. The next day, O'Neal, 52, posted a somber message on social media, seemingly referencing the confession from his ex-wife. I understand, I wouldn't have been in love with me either. Wishing you all the best. All love, Shaq," he wrote on Instagram with the caption, "Trust me, I get it." Henderson exclusively tells PBL she saw O'Neal's cryptic message and believes the excerpt was taken out of context. She explains, "My book is my truth, and when I was talking to my friend yesterday, I was like, developing an opinion and a comment from content with no context will show you a lot of people's intelligence and unintelligence, right? There was no context to just that one quote that I said, and I think that sadly, people are taking my words out of context. I'm not a word girl, I'm a character girl, and since I've left the marriage of Shaquille, my character has spoken for itself," she continues. Henderson says she can't speak for O'Neal, or why he would run with the out-of-context excerpt on social media. But it's my book, my truth, and it's my legacy. After O'Neal's response circulated on social media, Henderson says she spoke to a friend who experienced a similar uncertainty in a relationship. "It's funny, another girlfriend called me and was like, I know exactly what you were saying." She goes, "I didn't know that I wasn't in love with my first fiancé. She never did get married, but she was like, my fiancé, you couldn't tell me I wasn't in love then." Henderson shares that her friend revealed that it wasn't until I got older and now I'm married to my husband that I know what being in love feels like, which is a feeling the Basketball Wives star completely understands. When you love somebody, but to be in love with somebody is a different feeling, and I will be honest, I didn't realize that until I found the love of my life right now and I'm in this marriage. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's a different feeling, she says of her current husband, Keion Henderson, whom she married in 2022. I prayed about it. Henderson admits of the viral ordeal involving her ex-husband. I pray about everything. Listen, praying about things makes you be quiet. So I go in what I call my prayer closet, and even if that's driving in the car, it's just like when you feel yourself being emotional about something or feeling like you need to defend yourself, you just stop and pray. It will silence you, and it will center you and balance you. So absolutely, it's my go-to. Her words being taken out of context reminded Henderson that people often see what they want to see. People don't read, you know what I mean. Love, not in love, they pick up the words they want. Again, context is everything, she says. Henderson and O'Neal are parents to 4 kids together, Sharif, Amara, Shakir, and Miara, while Shaunie has a son, Miles, from a previous relationship, as Shaq has a daughter, Tahara, with his former girlfriend, Arnetta Yardberg. Months before the memoir's release, Henderson told POPL she was nervous to write about her ex-husband because anything involving Shaquille is always a sketchy thing because of who he is and the public's perception of their history together. Still, she felt it was important to share this journey and clarify the public's misconception of her. Over the course of their relationship, which began in the late 1990s and ultimately ended in 2009 when Henderson filed for separation, the couple struggled with infidelity, which O'Neal admitted to in his 2011 memoir, Shot Uncut, My Story. Speaking to PUPL before her memoir's release, Henderson admitted that O'Neal confessing to his downfalls in their marriage made it easier for her to open up. I was like, oh, okay, he told on himself, she laughed. Shaunie Henderson, the ex-wife of NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, is addressing the recent media frenzy over a quote from her newly released memoir, UNDFEADD, Changing the Rules and Winning on My Own Terms. In the book, she reflects on her past relationship with O'Neal and questions whether she was ever truly in love with him. Since the excerpt went viral, Henderson has made it clear that her words were taken out of context, leading to widespread misunderstandings about her true feelings regarding her former marriage. Feels that this reaction is based on a misinterpretation of her words, insisting that the excerpt lacks the full context of her reflections. Speaking exclusively to people, she elaborates, "My book is my truth." But developing an opinion from content with no context shows you a lot about people's intelligence. There was no context to just that one quote, and I think that, sadly, people are taking my words out of context. Henderson goes on to clarify that her statement in the memoir was less about questioning her feelings during her marriage and more about understanding the different layers of love as she has grown older. She acknowledges the complexities of distinguishing between loving someone and being in love with them, a realization she only came to after finding her current husband, Keion Henderson, whom she married in 2022. When you love somebody, but to be in love with somebody is a different feeling, she explains. I didn't realize that until I found the love of my life right now. In the face of public scrutiny, Henderson remains focused on her journey and the personal truths she chose to share in her memoir. She admits to being initially hesitant to write about her relationship with Neal, knowing that anything related to him would be subject to intense public interest. Yet, she felt compelled to provide her perspective, particularly given the misconceptions that have followed her since their high-profile relationship ended. Despite the challenges, Henderson has embraced the opportunity to speak her truth and define her own narrative. Shaunie Henderson's memoir, UNDFEADD, Changing the Rules and Winning on My Own Terms, represents more than just a retrospective look at her marriage to Shaquille O'Neal. It is a story of personal growth, reflection, and the ongoing journey toward self-discovery. While some passages have sparked controversy, she is unwavering in her commitment to owning her narrative and sharing her truth. For Henderson, the book serves as a testament to her evolution, both as a woman finding her own voice and as someone navigating the complexities of love and relationships. Her comments on the idea of being in love versus simply loving someone strike a universal chord, resonating with many who have experienced similar realizations in their own lives. She emphasizes that her reflections were not meant to diminish her past relationship with Neal, but to shed light on her evolving understanding of love. Henderson's new marriage to Keion Henderson has brought clarity and joy that she hadn't fully comprehended in the past, allowing her to express more openly about the journey she's been on and the lessons she's learned. Henderson's approach to dealing with the media's interpretation of her words is a reflection of her maturity and newfound confidence. People don't read, "You know what I mean." They pick out the words they want. Again, context is everything, she notes. Despite the misinterpretations, she remains at peace with the content of her memoir, having prayed for guidance and relied on her faith to navigate the emotional responses and public opinions swirling around her statements. Looking back on her marriage to Shaquille O'Neal, Henderson sees the experience as an essential part of her growth. Their relationship, marked by love, challenges, and personal missteps, including infidelity, which O'Neal admitted in his own 2011 memoir, was a chapter that shaped her but does not define her. By candidly addressing the ups and downs of her past, Henderson hopes to inspire others to embrace their own truths and seek clarity in their personal lives. As a mother of 5 and a public figure in her own right, Henderson is no stranger to the scrutiny that comes with living in the spotlight. But with her memoir, she hopes to go beyond the headlines and reveal the strength, resilience, and wisdom she has gained from all her experiences, both good and bad. She encourages readers to understand that love can take many forms and that growth often comes from the courage to speak one's truth, even when it is misunderstood. Ultimately, Shaunie Henderson's story is about reclaiming her narrative, finding peace in her journey, and continuing to grow into the woman she is becoming. Her memoir, filled with honesty, introspection, and faith, is a reminder that life is about learning, loving, and evolving on one's own terms.